All right, gang, welcome to our sales Q&A Zoom call, and hope you all have had a good week so far. And if you haven't, I hope you're on this call to find out why not. Had some really, really good coaching calls this week. I mean, some really good ones, man. Some that I wish I had recorded. I kind of made a decision, like if I record every single one of them and get them out to you guys, you're going to get bombarded with a lot of really great coaching, but then you're going to be subject to watching hours and hours of me coaching people. And I said, it's probably not worth it. That's why we have these calls. So you can ask a question so everyone can benefit from your questions. And then we do individual coaching. That's one thing that's interesting is, when you run into things or ask questions, it really just pulls out, a lot of my experience, and I've been doing this such a long time. I'm even surprised by stuff I remember. It's amazing. Anyway, all right, who's got questions, man? I'm gonna make this short and sweet. If no one has anything, man, I've got some dinner waiting for me. So not that I want you to not ask me questions because dinner, but we don't have to kind of prolong anything if you guys don't have any, because I don't really have an agenda of anything I'm going to cover. If no one has questions, we'll just shut it down. But Sue's got questions for me.
I have a real quick one, hopefully. First of all, I want to thank John Pimiano for helping me today with some annuity questions. And one of my agents is going to her husband is going to be rolling over a 401k to an annuity. So I got John on the phone and we got questions answered, and looks like, I'm going to proceed, get things in motion.
Oh, that's awesome. So is John going to split that 50-50 with you, Bruce?
Sure. Yeah. No, all right. But one question I forgot I thought about afterwards was she asked me the question, and I thought I'd ask you real quick. Is there anything as far as qualifications other than suitability, as far as health? There's no. I mean, if they got the money, it's the done deal. If it's
Well, they got to be Republican and they got to love Taylor Swift. So those are the other two criteria. Because if you're anti-Taylor Swift, then you must be, Republican. Just kidding.
right,
No,
right.
there are no other criteria other than suitability.
Okay, all right. That's what I was hoping to. That's what I thought, but I thought, well, maybe there's no health questions and all that. So, okay, cool.
No, suitability is about the only thing, really. So gotta love annuities, baby.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Well, we had a hiccup on our we're expecting those leads to come in, but we had a little bit of a hiccup, so we're probably expecting them next week. It seems like every time we try to step out and do something in a big burly way, we got a little bit of a resistance. I think sometimes the enemy doesn't want us to succeed, so it tries to get in our way, and we'll just rebuke him, and move forward. So we're excited to get that going. Let me see. Anybody? I'm actually thinking of some good coaching things I went over this week with some people. Oh, I know one good one. So Tamara had had a really good question. She kept getting the call me back excuse. Well, call me back, and then she calls back, and then it's like, well, I'm not feeling good. Can you call me back? And yeah, I can call you back. And then now the client's ghosting her, doesn't answer the phone. So what happens when you have like you get no showed, you get the client on the phone, oh, I'm tied up, I can't. They keep like putting you off. And I told her a story where I hung in with a client for a year, for a year, literally a year. And when finally did something on him, he was a physician at University of Cincinnati in the optometrist department. So he's a optometrist, doctor, whatever you call those guys. And it just didn't, it was the timing wasn't right until the timing was right. And so how do you handle those types of situations? Do you do that? Do you badger someone forever? And the answer is no. And this is just classic Sandler handling of the person that keeps putting you off. So what I recommended to Tamara is that now look, every time a client says, well, look, I can't do it now, but I really want to do this. The first thing is you got to do, number one, you got to do, again, Sandler says that ask the client a basic question. Say, well, look, I definitely can reschedule, but let me ask you a basic question. Are you just not wanting to tell me no? That you're just, you feel afraid like you're going to hurt my feelings if you say you don't want to do this? Like, if you don't want to do this, that's okay. Just tell me. But I will be happy to reschedule if you're serious about taking care of your family. If you're not, then just let me know now, right? And you're holding a client's feet to the fire. Now, one thing I recommended to add in there is, look, remind me again, why did you send this form in? Well, I just want to make sure that, there's enough money for my funeral. All right. And remind me again, who is the loved one that's going to have to pick up the pieces when you die? Well, it's my son, John. Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is that you want to make sure John has enough money to bury you, cremate you, whatever, so that he's not going to have to come up the money on his own. He's not going to have to put it on a credit card. He's not going to have to beg the other family members for money to bury you. Is that what I'm hearing? In other words, let me phrase it another way, Joe and Mary, you want to leave John, your son, a check versus a bill. Is that what you're looking for? So reestablish pain. Always, like every time they can't meet with you, there's something that came up, especially if they're still answering the phone call, because there's a point that sometimes people feel guilty and they won't answer your phone. I have a remedy for that too. But remind them about who they're doing this for, and then, hold their feet to fire. It's like, look, it's okay to tell me no. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Are you just trying to, put me off? Because if you are, then just tell me no, right? But Alex, I thought our job is to sell them insurance. No, our job is to sell people insurance that are going to be the clients that keep their policies and not turn into a chargeback. Okay. Does that make sense? I mean, seriously, man, I don't know what you guys are thinking sometimes when you think about what your job is. Okay. That's your job. Your job is not to get chargebacks. Your job is to serve families that deserve to be clients and not serve families that don't deserve to be clients, right? People that don't love their families. Max, that's kind of harsh. It's the truth. Look, your job is not to, I'm pointing. My job is not to be a friend to every person that turns in a lead. You know how they say, well, I'm just going to make a friend. No, they don't deserve my friendship if they don't love their families. If they don't love their families, I'm getting the heck out of there. I'm going to find if the next person I have a meeting with loves their families. People who don't love their families, I don't want to be friends with people that don't love their families. Does that make sense? It's a mentality that you need to have if you're going to do your job properly, right? people are just so amiable. Oh, this is a beautiful home. Oh, I love those pictures. Are those your grandkids? And you think you're going to nice them into a sale. It's like, man, those are the worst people to sell to because if you're just so nice, but you don't ask the hard questions, then that's going to be a chargeback. Seriously, that's going to be a chargeback. I promise you. And what you thought was going to be a good opportunity turns to be a nightmare opportunity because it's not opportunity, because you're not making money. And sometimes it starts off with your attitude about clients. Okay. So I hope that helps somebody. Maybe not the question you thought you'd thought about, but maybe you haven't even got to that question yet. See, I haven't looked at the chat line. That was definitely my question. Oh, hey, Courtney. Good. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, the people that put you off, look, if they say, no, 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 I really want to do this. Okay. Just want to make sure when can we get together, and book it sooner than later, but still hang in with them. Okay. Now, if they ghost you, you have got to get, okay, I've heard, and I don't know, I wish I knew. There are apps out there that can mask your phone number as a different number or whatever. I'm not familiar with those. But what I did back in the day before they had those apps, back when we had to like dial the number, just kidding. Um, that was a long time ago, man. We're talking year 2000. Anyway, I bought a burner phone, a cheap phone from Verizon. It was one of those phones, a flip phone is what it was. And actually, yeah, flip phone. And there was no data. You could buy data on it where you can get text, but I didn't buy data. It was like $10 a month to have a separate phone number. That's really why I bought the phone, to have a different phone number. And so from that phone number, then I would call the client from that phone number if they were ghosting me, and then they pick up the line. And then I would never tell them I'm calling from a different number. I just talk to them. Hey, Joe, this is Alex. Remember me? Right? Remember me? And then I just go into it. And, because how sometimes people are embarrassed, they want to sound like a fool because they've been, obviously been avoiding you, you know. The other thing too is if you're door knocking or like if you're running an appointment in that area, drop by their house, knock on their door. Okay, knock on their door and say, "Hey, I was in the area. I'm Alex. I'm the insurance guy. Remember, I was trying to call you and set up. I was in the area, so I thought I'd just drop by and introduce myself. How you doing?" And then they get to see you. You get to, if you're doing leads that are close to you, right? So that's another thing that you can do is just introduce yourselves to, to the clients. And then there was another one I mentioned to Tamara. Um, oh, so one of her situations was she was getting with the client. She was talking to the client, and it was like really carrying forward a momentum of her really wanting to do it. In fact, she had mentioned that the person that had originally sent in the lead, her daughter-in-law apparently had stage 4 cancer, and she was terminally ill. And she mentioned to Tamara, look, we've already taken care of what we could for her and blah, 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 blah. Then Tamara was just expert. I mean, she just did a wonderful job at turning it to the client say, hey, by the way, I'm sorry to hear that. It's really a good thing you did to take care of what you could for your daughter-in-law. I know it must be hard. And then it started getting around to, so, look, if there's anything I can do to help you, I'm a licensed life insurance agent. Oh, by the way, do you have coverage on yourself? And she goes, no, I don't. I'm going, oh man, that's so perfect. So she started the selling process on her, right? And this woman happened to be in her next door neighbors having lunch, right? So Tamara continued to close to start the application. And the woman said, well, I don't really have all my stuff here. I'm at a neighbor's for lunch. And so I told her, or she said, well, when will you be back home? And then she proceeded to book another appointment, which probably most of you would do. How about 4 o'clock? She goes, yeah, I should be home by 4. So when she calls back, nothing, nada. And then she calls back this morning, nothing. So what I told Tamara, and 50-50 one way or the other, but I said, look, next time you've got this momentum of closing a sale, why don't you just, because she's local, why don't you just book an appointment instead of saying, hey, I'll show up at 4, I'll call you at 4, just say, hey, listen, let's finish up the application in person. I'll come to your house and we can just get it done really quickly. It's not going to be a big deal. It won't take very long, 20 minutes, and so when are you going to be home so I can come over? So in that instance, you have a little bit more expectation that you're going to do something because you're actually coming over the house. So that is another way to maybe lock it down and really take advantage of an opportunity, and don't just don't leave it to where you can hopefully just do a telesale. When you got a chance to do an in-home appointment, especially if you've done all the groundwork at the beginning, man, close the deal by just going over there, and so I think it's still a great opportunity for her to close it. Like, those are definitely one where you just pop in and say, hey, just want to introduce myself. I was in the area. Boom, get a chance to get in front of her. But I think there's still a lot of possibility there. I mean, who knows? Maybe her daughter-in-law suffered a setback, or was literally on her deathbed. Then you should go in and or she had to go in and take care of all that. So you just never know about someone's situation, right? I love these long texts. I sold a policy to a mother this week. Her daughter came on asking questions about IULs and wanted more info on it. I went over the brochure, but the policy has not been delivered to the mother yet. Besides a follow-up to ask what she thinks of it, do you have any tips on how to approach it besides the benefits of it already explained to her? I would speak, but the house is noisy right now. I can understand that, dude. I had 5 kids screaming at early part of my life. So plus the mother, daughter came on asking questions about IULs and wanted more information on it. Okay. Yeah. So here's so the daughter is wanting to understand what her mom's doing, and maybe I should do the same thing, right? And I don't I'm not a big fan of going over brochures. Like going over a brochure to help you speak to a product, like if it's over the phone, like I don't know if this is over the phone or in the home, but I'm not a big fan of selling off of a brochure. Now, if you're selling on the phone, you're reading a brochure, like you're taking points off the brochure. Oh, I'm all about that because that's kind of like your outline, right? The brochure is your outline of, what to say about a product. But I don't know of any IUL brochure that would talk specifically to the benefits of an IUL, right? So depends on the purpose of the IUL. So I'm big on not trying to sell by telling, but by asking questions. So my first question for the daughter is, wow, you seem very interested in what your mom's doing with Index Universal Life. I'm kind of curious, what were you looking for specifically? Do you know much about how IULs work? Well, no, I'm kind of curious, and it seems like she's excited about it. Oh, okay, great. So let me ask you a question. What are you currently doing for your retirement planning right now? Key question. Well, right now I'm just, doing 401k. Oh, wow, that's cool. What else are you doing? Well, that's about all I'm doing. That's why I'm kind of interested in, why my mom's looking at this thing. Okay, okay. Well, let me ask you a basic question. When you retire, would you like your money that you retire on to be taxable or non-taxable? Which do you think would be better? Creating a retirement income that's taxable or not taxable? Well, obviously, it'd be great if it wasn't taxable. Oh, perfect. Right. That's a great answer. I think we're talking then about the right product. Okay, so you want income that's not taxable. How about this? Would you want your retirement income to ever run out of money, or do you want your retirement income to go until you die? Well, I mean, I'd want it to go until I die. Okay. So you want perpetual income so you never outlive it, number one, and you don't want it to be taxable. You know, you don't want Uncle Sam to make a big chunk of your money, right? Yeah, that's right. All right, cool. So the the product that meets the two criteria you're looking for is what we call index universal life. And when you use an index universal life properly, you'll be able to get those kind of benefits. Does that make sense, Mary? Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that sounds like too good to be true. Yeah, I know. You know, most financial planners that try to do retirement planning, do you know that they don't tell their clients about this product? Do you know why that is? Why? Because they don't make money off of it. Isn't that hilarious? They don't like tell clients about this product because they don't make ongoing income from it. Like, did you know, again, asking a question, that most financial planners, they make money on how much money they manage for clients. So in other words, if they have 100,000, let's say they're managing $100,000 of money for a client, they make 1% to 1.5% on the money they're managing, whether the money grows in value or decreases in value. Did you know that? And there are additional fees on top of that with the products that they're selling, like mutual funds will have another, 0.5, 2% of fees and charges, et cetera. I mean, so really, beyond just beating inflation, the product has to beat the amount of percentage fees on top. And that's how money managers make their money. So how would you like someone managing your money that they get paid whether your money grows or not? Is that insane to you that there's no accountability for the money manager to, because they make money whether you make money or don't make money? Does that make sense? Is that funny how that is? That's why they don't like talking about this product, because they don't make as much money in commissions off this product. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, that's crazy. I don't understand why that is. Well, look, I could talk on and on about it, but why don't I put together some numbers for you so you can see how a product like this can perform for you. Okay, so how much do you think, if I can help you get the benefits of the IUL for retirement, tax-free and less the rest of your life, how much do you think that you'd want to put into it every month? Like in your income, how much would you like to save? Now, what most people like to do when they're putting money away is saving 10%. There's like this rule of thumb, 10% of your income. And that's what a lot of people do that purchase products like this. They'll put 10% of their income to a product this so it grows like crazy. In fact, here's what some of our clients do. They actually take the money they were putting in their 401k and then they put it into this product. Now, do you want to know why people do that? Well, I don't know. Why would they do that? Well, did you know that the money that you're putting in your 401k, the government doesn't tax that? Did you know that? Right? You don't get taxed on the money when you put it in, which is what you think is a great benefit, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is. But when they tax it? They tax it when you pull it out. So basically the concept is would you rather have, let's say you're a farmer, right? Would you rather have the government tax the seed, or would you rather them tax the harvest, right? Remember, like a seed of corn could equal, 1,000 seeds of corn, right? You know how that is. So would you rather be taxed upfront on the seed and then let the crop grow and not be taxed? Or would you rather not be taxed on the seed, let the crop grow, and then the government takes a big chunk out, could be as much as 30%? Which makes sense to you? Tax the seed or tax the harvest? Tax the seed. Exactly. So that's why a lot of our clients make the decision to put what they're putting in the 401k into a product like this. So just let me ask you a basic question. How much are you putting currently in your 401k? 800 a month? Okay, cool. That's a lot. And then, so just ballpark, you have to tell me specifically, but just what's 10% of your income? Well, I make 70,000 a year, so 10%, 7,000. Okay. So why don't I do this? Let me show you um some scenarios where you're putting 7,000 a year in your retirement account, an IUL retirement account, and then show you how much you'll be able to take out when you retire tax free. How's that sound to you? Wow, that sounds really good. Okay, now I just want to make sure, can you afford to put 10% of your income, into a product like this? Well, yeah, I'd like to see how it works. Okay, great. While we do this, let's get back together. I probably have all these scenarios. I'll put 3 different scenarios together, and then let's meet tomorrow. Are you going to be free right around 7 p.m.? Why don't I come over, and then we can go over these options for you. Is that cool? Bam. And I promise you will probably sell a $7,000 IUL or 5,000, whatever. So how much would you make? Let's say the target premium on that, it's not going to be 7,000. Let's say the target premium is like 5,000. Let's say 4,000, just to be conservative. 4,000 a year times commissionable 0.88. So the commission would that be 3,520 times, let's say you're at a 70%, 0.70. So that's a $2,400 sale, baby. 2,400 bucks, man. How would you like to make 2,400 bucks on a IUL sale that's probably not going to charge back? I think that's pretty good. So does that help, Landon? I know I'm reading, okay. Landon, awesome. Thank you. Good. Glad that I could help. Courtney says, I have a question. And then Chris Sutter, currently reading your recommended books, How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds. There's an exercise mentioning about firing energy on paper. Can you provide some insights on how NLP and oh my gosh. Oh, dude. I'm telling you what, man, NLP rocks. Let me so Courtney, why don't you ask your question, Courtney, and then I'll get to the NLP thing.
Okay. So first of all, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
I guess my question, I had a chance to talk with the group yesterday because I got to go and see Gina yesterday.
Oh, awesome.
So it was amazing. Um, so some of my leads that I got on the TOP leads, they're not in Houston,
Yeah.
right? They're in Texas, but they're not in Houston.
Yeah. So you have to do
So
timescales on those.
in the meeting, they talked about, once you, get ghost a couple of times, you can pop up and do like a door knock, right? So how would you go about kind of being ghosted if they're not in a city with me? Is there like sending something in the mail? Do I just kind of move on, keep trying? Like, what would be my next
I
steps?
do it from a different phone number.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, Like get a burner phone and get one of those apps, those other apps that can mask your number. And I would just keep dialing and keep trying, from different numbers. And then another thing I would do is text them and just say, hey, this is Courtney. I'm the person that got assigned to handle your case. Remember, you talked to one of our outreach agents with a funny accent. I'm the person that can help you. And then I text a copy of my life insurance license. Okay. See if that kind of shakes things out. So that's about all you
Okay.
can do. You obviously can't door knock them, but try to text them. If you have their email address, try to email them, so just do the best you can.
And then when they're wanting to schedule out, because I'm getting a lot of the can you call me back? So I know usually you try to keep it within 48 hours. Do you hold them to that same kind of standard of the 48
Yes.
hours? Okay.
Quick. Gotta turn around real quick.
Okay.
Now, here's
All
the
right.
thing when they say, can you call me back? Here's what I'll try to do. Some people they could really be busy, but I say, yeah, absolutely, I can call you back, but let me just take a second, okay, and find out, first of all, when you sent this in, who are you trying to protect? Who is the loved one you're trying to protect? Okay, and what's interesting is when they answer the question back, they've got some time to answer that question. Then they got time to answer a second or third question. And then once you kind of get a little bit more from them, then, I try to book another appointment quickly. I just booked the appointment, and so, by the way, did you guys get that video I sent out on Clay Murtis going over phone call? It's about an hour or something long. Did you guys get that on email blast? I'm trying to remember if I did actually send it out. Oh my gosh, I don't think I sent it out. Do you guys remember getting that at all?
You talking about setting the appointment
Yeah, I sent
recording?
out a President's Club training call.
I think you put it on Slack, I believe.
Oh, I put it on Slack, but I didn't put it on.
I think so. I remember seeing it,
Alex,
but
Alex, you sent it February 13th on regular email. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I have it on my YouTube. I sent it out. So I did send it out an email blast.
Yes.
Okay. So this training call is Clay Murtis going over with some agents on booking appointments and answering objections. And it's really, really good. Like I highly recommend looking for that email blast because it is an excellent call. He goes over all these type of scenarios that we're talking about here. And he did it actually the day before I did my President's Club call on recruiting. And I happened to make a copy of it while I was it's really good. I mean, seriously, gang, you got to all the stuff we're talking about booking appointments, you have to listen to that.
it is on Slack as well at 7:09 p.m. on the 13th.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Booking appointments and handling objections. Has anyone even watched that yet on the call? Has anyone kind of even started that video yet?
I actually started it because you sent it right after this guy cussed me out horribly. So
Okay.
I remember telling Mary that it came at the perfect time because I think he cursed me for everything he could think of that day. And then you
Yeah.
sent it.
Yeah. You know what? That's whatever, man. Here's my scenario in my head is I say the guy probably found out that he had cancer, like terminal cancer, and he's mad at the world. And so I give him grace and then move on, say a little prayer for him, and then move on, So actually, so let me say something about that. Here's what's crazy about people that yell at you on the phone. Is when you door knock them, they won't yell at you, and they won't even remember that they yelled at you. They won't even make a connection. Like when you door knock, you don't say, "Hey, I called you the other day and you cussed me out." You just door knock and say, "Hey, remember you filled this form out?" Now look, if you're doing TLP leads, you don't have a form to show them. So door knocking, those are really hard. Okay, when you have a direct mail lead, you got a form that you can show them, hey, was this you? Because I've been trying to get a hold of you, and then we've had agent, like there's just story after story and story after story of agents that door knock people that yell at them. They don't even remember the first phone call, which is kind of crazy, but it's true. In fact, I think actually Eric Belair has a story where he sold a huge annuity on a client that cussed him out on the phone. He showed up on her doorstep. She didn't even remember cussing him out. And he sold a huge annuity on that appointment. So you just never know, right? But so good. I'm glad you started that. Gang, seriously, look, we're only trying to help you. Anything we send out, yeah, it's going to take time, but you know what? This business takes time to learn it and be good at it. Like, here's how do you think that we got started? Do you think it was easy for me? Do you think everything was easy for me when I got started, or Megan Wood, or anybody that's been in the business any amount of time? You are walking the same road that we walked, right? You are totally walking the same road. If you have doubts and fears and people yell at you, we went through the same thing, okay? But we didn't quit. We chose to work through it. We chose to get yelled at. We chose to figure it out because other people figured it out. Look, man, if they could do it, I can do it. And I just kept holding on to that and just kept pounding it. And I know I can make this work. I know I can make this work. And I just kept believing I could. And I prayed a lot, and I just kept picking up the darn phone. And the phone was my friend, and the phone has made me millions, literally, right? So, worry not in well-doing. Like anything worth doing, you're going to suffer. And you got to embrace the suffering. The road to Calvary was a rough one, right? Christ carried his cross. How he says to you, well, why don't you take up your cross, right? So anyway, that's another one. Hushed is one of those apps. I don't know really what that means. Okay, the NLP thing. I don't want you guys, if you're brand new, not to get totally wrapped up in NLP, but NLP is like one of my most powerful skills in influencing people in a positive way. Neurolinguistic programming is a kind of a form of psychology that uses a model that has always worked for me, and to the point where you can, if you're a proper NLP practitioner, you can help people quit smoking like that. A lot of practitioners counsel PTSD veterans to help them with their lives. It's a powerful influencing technique. Where I've used it is in sales and influencing people, in a positive way. And I can't teach it here because I've taught it in other videos, like where you're going to find me teaching hardcore NLP is on my bond and rapport videos. So on the main training homepage, anything that has anything about bond and rapport, I teach some real key NLP techniques where you can create bond and rapport. It's pretty amazing thing. That's why I have you read that book, How to Make Friends in 90 Seconds or Less, or I forgot what it's something like that. That's an NLP book, but it's a simplified way of applying NLP in creating rapport with people. There are other really good books. I don't say really good. There are good NLP. I say good. I will not qualify it. There are books using NLP on how to pick up women, right? Like I'm not kidding. These techniques, and sometimes there's a little bit. Oh, let me say it like this. I don't want to make it sound bad, but it can be bad. It can actually be used for ill. When there are like 2-week seminars on how to become a master practitioner where you can actually have a certificate to practice neurolinguistic programming. And usually the folks that do that they do it for coaching, and they charge money for, like, how to stop smoking, and, just a lot of different things that they can do. They get paid for it. And one of the key things to become a master practitioner, like, you have to take a 1-week course to get a certificate, and then you take the 2-week course to get a master practitioner certificate. Part of the master practitioner certificate, you have to sign a document that says that you're not going to use the NLP skill for evil, you're not going to manipulate people. Okay. And once you get really good at it, you can actually manipulate people. Now, I'm of the opinion that you can't make someone do what they don't want to do. Right. That's kind of what I hang my hat on. So it gives me the get out of jail free card mentally and morally to practice NLP on people. But it's pretty, and I've used it on my kids. Actually, I have. I don't use it on Jenny because she knows my tricks anyway. So I don't use it on her, but there are times when I've used it, and like full on, man, full on. And not even in sales, but trying to get what I want from a situation. And I'll just tell you, it works. Now, here's the thing. Problem sometimes with salespeople, they start going down a rabbit hole of NLP. As they get away from selling insurance and into wanting to get to become this NLP person, it's like, man, don't do that, please. Right? I'll teach you enough where you can use it to make sales, like mega sales, but I'm not telling you, don't go down the rabbit hole. Like, seriously, do not go down the rabbit hole, because you can. And there's some effective techniques, like I said, that I teach you on the bond report videos that are pure NLP. But I only teach the stuff related to sales, nothing else. Okay. So because I don't want y'all to know all my tricks that I use on y'all. Okay. Because it will be obvious. Once you learn it, it'll be very obvious. And I don't want to give up my advantage. So I hope that answered your question. That was Chris, I think, that asked that question.
Yes, sir. That answers my question.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
Awesome, man. All right, I got 912. Anyone else? This actually turned out to be a good call. All right.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, Joy.
Hey, I had sent you a text, but I came across something today that I'm going to start using and implementing this when I'm going through training with people. Agents need to quote Great Western through their website and not go through that quoting link through the ARC, because there are discrepancies that way. So they need to go to maybe use the quoting tool, or go to my.gwic.com, and you'll get the accurate quote. Okay.
Yeah, have you mentioned that to anybody, Joy, at corporate?
Wow. I have when I've been on the phone with them with other things. So I need to make a specific phone call to Great Western.
Yeah, but also let Clay know. Clay Murray.
Oh, I didn't know. I haven't told Clay. No.
Yeah, let Clay know.
Okay.
And they probably have heard it, but don't assume that they've heard it.
That's true.
Anything. Yeah. So thanks for letting us know.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, listen, gang, this is just hammer it. Like, the more you do, the more you'll learn, the quicker you'll get down the learning curve. There's this thing that we call it fail fast. Fail fast. The more you fail, the better you're going to get. And don't like frame it negatively. Every failure is an opportunity to learn. You know what I mean? Like, embrace it as a good thing, not a bad thing. You got to fail at the beginning to get good. Like, when I started learning guitar, man, calluses, like, my fingers were on fire, and they're, learning to make chord changes, and my fingers just wouldn't work until I practice. And and I stuck with it. And now look, geez, I got start playing guitar when I was like, what, 6 or 7? I should be way better than I am now, but I get to enjoy the benefits of playing that instrument, man. I love it. I love it. But I was not good when I got started, but I was motivated to get better and better at it. This is no different. And anything that you've ever done, remember, anything you started new, you weren't good at it, but you got better and better and better. You absolutely can do it here. Like and maybe you have some aptitude for creating relationships with people and bond a rapport. Awesome. Okay. Some of you don't have that yet. So you got to earn it. You got to work at it. And it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it if you just stick with it and stay with it, man. Okay, gang. So seriously, and I've seen it. I've seen some of y'all just really been hammering it and starting to get better. You're starting to turn in apps every week, or, you're starting to get better. So just like, don't take your hand off the plow. Never assume you've arrived. There's always new things to learn. And gang, I'm serious. Just hang in there. You can do this. Okay. You absolutely can do this business. Okay. So anyway, well, hey, you guys rock. I appreciate y'all being on this call. We got a lot of people on here, man. So I hope it helped.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a very, very quick question.
No, that's all right. Yeah,
So
go
let's say we call the client or prospect 4 or 5 times. Do you still advise against leaving a voicemail on that 4th or 5th try?
No, I'll leave a voicemail.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just reading through or looking through some of the training videos, and then it was advised to not leave a voicemail ever. So wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, the ever part. So that's the part I don't agree with. Like I don't think I've ever done those type of videos. Maybe I have. Because here's what happens. When people say, yeah, it's okay to leave a voicemail, what they'll do is on the first phone call, they'll leave a voicemail. Okay. It's like, no, man, you've been trying to call them 4 or 5 different times, then leave a voicemail. I'll leave one voicemail and I'll say, hey, this is Alex from the Senior Benefits Center, Montgomery County. Listen, I have that pre-application form that you guys filled out and sent to me, or that you got to us, and my job is just follow up on it. So before we do anything, I really need to establish the information you sent us. So give me a call, blah, blah, blah. And then if I don't hear anything, I text them, hey, listen, Senior Benefits Center, here's a copy of my life insurance license. You mentioned that you're 72 and your beneficiary is going to be John, your son, and you're looking for about 25,000 to cover. I put every dadgum thing on that spreadsheet, and then I text them, right? So that's another thing I would do. So, try all those things, and then I'm telling you what, get another number, get one of those out. Like, again, I don't know what those apps are, but mask your number, find another number you can call from, and, just be relentless.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Cool. All right, gang, let's rock, man. Let's make this thing happen. Take care. See y'all later. God bless.